Last night, the market plunged with liquidations dropping XRP's price all the way down to $1.83 as we continue with the FUD in the market clarity or the structure bill and the Clarity Act with the WEF meeting this week in Davos. We have a ton of things happening, but why is the price falling? Well, it's easy. It's FUD. We have global tensions, new tariff announcements. Everything that you don't want in a market for risk on assets is happening now. Looks like we're going to have a rug pull. We're not going to get a rate cut at the end of this month and a looming government shutdown. With all of this overhang, it's just not good for risk on assets. And we were talking about that yesterday. We predicted, or at least I predicted, the beginning of a pullback closer to the $2. If we gave up $2, it would be closer to $1.75, and price is retreating directly to that. So let's look at the price and see what we're dealing with, because everyone wants to know what the heck happened last night, why we dropped price so much. We fell all the way down to $1.84 before it snapped all the way back up to $1.95. Now, here's the worry, and this is why, if you follow me on X, I tweeted out that I don't think this is over. So here's my worry. Because we did not come back up and reclaim $2 immediately. We came up to this $1.95 level and chopped, and now we're back up to $2. But if we give up EMA 9 again, if we cannot come up and set a new high back to this 205 level, we're going to see a repeat of the process. This is what's worrying me. Price came up, RSI came all the way up here. Again, we talk about a bullish divergence. This is a bearish divergence. When you look at RSI right here, you can see it's all the way up to roughly a 60. But if we go over to where the price was here, it was at a 45. So this is clearing room for another move down. I do think we have a chance to pick up some more at a cheaper price around that $1.75 to $1.77 level still. We're going to be watching EMA 9. If it can hold above EMA 9, it can continue. We want to see it continue beyond 205 and hold above EMA 9. If it does give up this level, more than likely it's going to fall. But again, not financial advice. That's just what I'm seeing. Some cool new information. So XRP Insights, the place we go to look at and see what's actually happening with the ETFs, right? To see volume tracking and all that. They've now added XRP Radar, where you can track and see where every single XRP is. I'm not exactly sure how accurate this is, but this is calling 14.14 billion on exchanges, which is what we were calling for the total float. However, this is claiming it is all on exchanges. We saw the chart from Glassnode that there was 1.6 billion on exchanges. So if anything, this is just going to add more confusion to everyone trying to predict what's actually out there and where. But again, this is why we have a full complement of data that we can look at when we're making our determinations. Again, engage in the chat. The chat is the lifeblood of the stream. We are going to talk about it because I'm starting to get the sense that a lot of people are at the same space in crypto right now. And that same space is, what the heck are we doing? What's the point? Markets, silver's at all-time highs, gold's at all-time highs, the S&P's at all-time highs. Why is crypto not doing anything? It's because we're waiting on this market structure bill, this Clarity Act. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but the entire crypto market is down unless you have quant, today or in this week for that matter. But right now, the entire market is down. It is not doing well. However, I have been looking at, again, my thesis has not changed. We're in this for the long view. That just means right now is a buying opportunity, because when you look at what's being built out and the money behind these projects, they're not going anywhere. It's just a matter of getting turned on. And I actually have 2 videos that I'm working on right now that are taking me a long time, but I'm putting a lot more effort into, and they're going to be longer videos, but it's going to be a better breakdown of my comparison to blockchain technology, to internet technology, and how that all played out, as well as I am finally working on my deep dive into Canton network. I'm working on that as well. 2 videos I'm working on at the same time. Both of them are longer videos, so it's taken me a while to get out. But I think they're both really, really important in the sense that it covers what we've been talking about in the streams at a lot more detail, as far as getting that information out there to you that's factual, logical, and backed, so it's not just false claims. But let's hop back into where we were. Let's look at activity on Ledger. And again, if you guys joined me on Saturday, I apologize. I was not in it Saturday. I tried and it just was not working for me, but feeling much better today. I usually run out of mental energy in the evenings. That's typically why I try to stream earlier in the day. But payments activity and an account set activity, excuse me. That's what we want to look at. Payments activity is still staying elevated. Yesterday, we did 1.2 million payments, and today it's already at 863,000. So it's on pace to do another million. Again, this is staying over a million, which is good, but we want to see it increase beyond 1.5 million. We want to see it get up to this 2 million level and continue to maintain. We think that will lead to price appreciation, as well as if we look at all the account set activity, it is still maintaining. Again, if you go back and look at the history of the ledger here, if you're new, the history of the ledger, this amount of activity far supersedes everything that has ever happened on the ledger combined. So the amount of accounts that are coming on ledger is, you can't deny. I mean, there's no other explanation other than when you look at what's happened with the MAS a couple months ago, what's happened in the UK over the last couple weeks with them getting their bank charter or their conditional bank charter here in the United States. Things are ramping up on Ledger. We're waiting to see that translate. Thank you. We're waiting to see that translate into payments activity on the Ledger. And then again, payments activity means increase of price for XRP. That is the goal. That is what we are hoping for. Again, you can follow me on X. It's at Longview Crypto. That's where I will tweet out a lot of this stuff before it happens. And again, now Coinbase is saying that now that they expect the Clarity Act to be done next month. So you guys can see how this drama is playing out. Coinbase saying it's terrible and all this and that. Coinbase is worried about their bottom line. This is negotiation tactics. Again, Coinbase, they don't care about you, right? Robinhood, they don't care about you. The government, they don't really care about you. The banks definitely don't care about you. They do not care about us. They are worried about their bottom line. Coinbase made a nice speech and tried to make it about the people, but we know it's not. We know it's really about their bottom line. If that was the case, they wouldn't be stealing crypto out of people's wallets on Coinbase left and right. That's all you hear about is people losing crypto on Coinbase. And again, I'm not trying to bag on Coinbase. It just felt very disingenuous to me, and I don't believe it whatsoever. At least Ripple was very straightforward when they were like, we're not leaving the table. Clarity is better than nothing. So Coinbase is back at the table. It was all posturing. It was all BS. Now Coinbase is saying it's going to be done next month, possibly. I still don't think that the Clarity Act is going to be done until right before midterms, but I do think it's going to get done this year. There's just way too much money on the line. And on top of that, I just found out that they're moving WilFi, WLFI, right? WilFi stablecoin onto the Canton network. So for those of you who are interested in WilFi, I know you guys were mentioning that. I found that while I was researching the Canton network. I call it Canton network, Canton network, CC, whatever one you want to call it. But the WilFi stablecoin is going on to the Canton network, which I thought was interesting. So let's see here. Now, I saw someone point this out. XRP didn't drop by itself today. The entire crypto market was down today. That's why I brought up the crypto bubbles. But I figure most people here are interested in specifically what's happening with XRP. But actually, I should probably change it out and just make it more of a broader crypto show. I feel like it's becoming more about broader crypto than just XRP, even though I think everyone here holds XRP. But truthfully, my philosophy, if we were to put it into words, is more of infrastructure build, right? I mean, I claim the debasement trade because I'm fearful of the degradation of our fiat currency, but really I'm looking at infrastructure builds, infrastructure as far as copper, silver, those kinds of things, land, deflationary assets, infrastructure within the utility tokens, right? XRP, now looking at Canton network, HBAR. So it's really what problems are going to be solved in the future. Alternative power, right? Infrastructure. Really, what is going to drive our country over the next 10 years? What do we need? And that's what I try to look at. It's more of an infrastructure play on what we're going to be building out over the next 10 years. It's kind of how I try to get into things anyway. Um, so again, you can follow me on X. Now, I wanted to talk about the liquidation. So XRP hit by liquidation cascade as price slips below $2. This is exactly why, structurally, why the price fell. It says XRP slid from about 206 to a low of $1.90, which we saw it went lower, went down to $1.84 as a liquidation sell-off that broke the 205 support level. After the flush, price stabilized to a 193, 194 range, but XRP continued to lag the broader crypto market, and the rebound remained tentative. So traders are watching $1.93, which we pushed back above $2, but 205 is still acting as a resistance now. So we need to clear 205 to continue pushing up. Otherwise, it opens us up to a fall back to our $1.75 level that we've been discussing. So again, major liquidations in Bitcoin that caused the entire crypto market to drop. It says right here, whales dump $4 billion in Bitcoin and XRP as tariff fears rattle crypto. So again, new tariffs announced by Trump earlier this week or end of last week, as well as the looming government shutdown and overall fear and uncertainty with the Clarity Act is ultimately just causing a rotation out of the risk on assets. So it appears, at least for the moment, that's what it appears to look like. But Bitcoin fell 2.5% on the day, while XRP slid about 4.2%. Many altcoins dropped harder, which links to elevated Bitcoin dominance, amplifying downside in the broader market. And that is another concern, is that Bitcoin dominance is not being taken out. Right now, the more Bitcoin dominance there is, the more we're going to feel these effects when price moves from Bitcoin. The opposite of decoupling, right? The more Bitcoin dominance there is the opposite of decoupling. And right now, risk on assets are taking punishment, period. I mean, that's really all there is to it. But let's hop in the chat, see how everyone's feeling today. Price is down, so I'm sure people are hurting, but we're back over $2. Crypto Roger says, hi, I bought 20,000 Flare last night. Was that stupid? I don't think Flare is stupid, honestly. I think it has a use case and will build out over time with XRP. I own some Flare. So no, I don't think owning Flare is stupid as long as you did your due diligence and did your research. But I hold Flare as well. Sir Charles is in the house with his coffee today. Crypto Rogers says, my real question is, should I buy 80,000 more to make it 100K, or is it a useless pursuit? So if I'm looking at Flare, and again, my opinion, not financial advice, if I'm looking at Flare, it's at its current price and it's been doing nothing but airdrops and giving away free Flare to this point. All of that stuff is going away this year, right? And they're really launching their support for XRP this year, right? With the FXRP and the stuff they have going on. They have like a $10 billion investment from another company coming in to build out the Flare network. There's a lot of good things happening with Flare. So I don't think it's a bad investment at all, but I'm not going to tell you how much you should buy. But I think it definitely has some major upside this year, especially since the airdrops have stopped, right? That's going to limit the supply. Right now, there's just been more and more Flare coming into the market, which is degrading the value, but they're going to stop that now. My opinion, not financial advice. It's such a beautiful day here in Texas. Kind of makes me sad. I can't buy my farm yet. Waiting on XRP. I'm right there with you, Crypto Roger, saying different YouTubers and even news broadcasts everywhere on talking Clarity Act, this and that, but no real consensus for us to hold on to because there's nothing new to report. They're trying to get clicks. We're in the same place now that we were 2 weeks ago. It hasn't changed. They're still negotiating. They're still working on it. The markups got delayed. So really, there has been zero change other than drama on Twitter with the Clarity Act. And that it's got everyone up in a tizzy. So unfortunately, yeah, different YouTubers, different news broadcasts are telling you different things because everyone's trying to get clicks. Really. So they'll blow up this element or they'll blow up that element to draw people in. And then here I am saying, no big deal. Nothing to see here. Like, this is just normal negotiation. It probably won't be done till midterms. And really, that's all we know, because we have we saw all the posturing with the White House and Coinbase and Ripple. We saw it all. Guess what? They're at the table. They're talking. This is good. Ultimately, this is good, but this is how the thing plays out. So when you're the only thing I would say when you're watching these videos, especially if they have the clickbait titles and everything, take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research, take it with a grain of salt. Think to yourself, does this make sense? Does this really make sense? You're smart people. You've been around the block. Most of you are my age. So it's okay. A lot of people are pushing all kinds of different things. Right now, the Coinbase is saying it could be done next month. But realistically, the way this stuff plays out, we're looking at midterms if we're lucky. My opinion, not financial advice. Quelly says, where do you buy Flare? There's many different places you can buy Flare. I actually bought mine directly from the Bifrost wallet. It's a warm wallet that you can download, which is where Flare runs on. I downloaded it so I could move XRP to it and wrap it in Flare, right? FXRP, so I could deploy it for DeFi. So that's where I purchased Flare in the past, was directly from the Bifrost wallet. But there's several places you can get it. Crypto Roger says, if we have to wait for the Clarity Act before real price appreciation, regretfully, I feel that means to survive, one would almost have to turn crypto off and just hodl by focusing on something else. I agree with you, Roger, except for one pretense, because following the crypto clarity is probably, in my opinion, the most important thing that we need to follow, because that's going to tell us which direction crypto is going to go, in my opinion, right? When they decide, think about the people who are involved in this bill. Ripple's involved, Coinbase is involved, Circle's involved, right? President's involved. How this plays out is going to tell us the path that this is going to go. So the better understanding we have of what's actually taking place with regulation gives us probably the most important information in how to proceed going forward. So, I mean, I somewhat agree with you, but I think this is going to lay the groundwork for the next 10 years. And it's going to be what we need to base off of. So I'm really focused on what's going to end up coming out of the Clarity Bill, because I think that's going to decide, truthfully, the winners and losers over the long term. If you think about, and again, I'll reference the internet all the time, but if you think about the internet back in the early 90s, we were talking about AOL and things like that. Internet did not really take off until we started getting standardization, right? IP addresses, TSP, whatever infrastructure. I'm not really great with the internet terminology, but whatever infrastructure modes you want to reference as far as standardization and building out the internet to get to the point where we are now, that's what decided who was going where with internet. It was the infrastructure that was laid. Remember, they were laying fiber for years and years and years and years before they saw any use of it, right? Takes time. It's not going to happen in the blink of an eye, but Clarity Act will give us an indication of where we should look, in my opinion. Other than that, I agree with you, Crypto Roger. This is going to take time. It's going to be a hodl scenario. However, I still think we need to do our due diligence and be aware. And when you're watching 20 different YouTubers and they're telling you 20 different things, it can be overwhelming. It really can. And thank you for taking your time to be here and listen to me as another one of them. Hopefully I bring you guys back down to a more grounded approach a little bit and clear out the noise for you. Let's see here. So Crypto Roger got his from Flare. I mean, got his Flare from Coinbase. Just because I don't like Coinbase doesn't mean no one should use Coinbase, but I'm always going to tell you guys straight, I just personally don't like Coinbase. Crypto Roger said, you're welcome. Abdul pulled his message out. Okay, Crypto Roger said, XRP didn't drop by itself. BTC and everyone else dipped, but did you buy? I don't have any money to buy right now. I don't have any money to buy right now. I'm actually closing on my house next month, and at that point I'll probably re-enter back into the market more dollar cost average, as I will have capital to invest again. But right now I don't have any money to buy the dip, unfortunately. Three Brothers is in the house. He said good afternoon. Crypto Roger said 94.50 AG today. Oh, silver or gold. No, AG is gold. No, AG is silver. AU is gold. Out of my mind. It's been a while since I was in science or chemistry class. I haven't looked at a periodic table in probably 20 years. 94.50 for silver today. There you go. So silver's up. And again, when we have fear and uncertainty in the markets, the hedge is gold, silver, copper. The hedge is infrastructure. So if you really look at it from an infrastructure play, you have your hedge, gold, silver, copper, your infrastructure hard materials that they're going to need to build out physical infrastructure over time. And then the risk assets is the infrastructure crypto assets, which is what they're building out over time. So again, that's just my theory and way of going in it. It's all infrastructure. Is it bad that WillFi moved to Canton? What does that mean? I mean, so Canton is, all it means is Canton is building out their layer one and stablecoin usage and payments. They're more about, and I have a deep dive video I'm working on, but they're more about like repo and behind the scenes settlement and stuff like that. Similar to XRP, but different. The thing that got me really looking into Canton Network, whatever you want to call it, is the backing, right? The backing. So the company that created the blockchain is called Digital Asset. The backing in that company includes people like Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Blackstone, like, you know what I'm saying? Like major players. They just got another Citadel, BNY, NASDAQ. Like all of these players have invested in it for the startup of it. They got the contract with the DTCC. I mean, I've always told you guys, follow the money. That's one of my biggest things. If you've been around with XRP a while, I always say follow the money. And when there's that kind of backing in a project, I can't ignore it. So I don't think it's bad. I think it's them growing. I think it's good for Canton Network. Again, I have picked some of that up and I've added it to my bag as a fifth pillar, just because of the backing. And I've been doing more and more research into it. And I have that video coming out for you guys soon. But I definitely think it's something to look at. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. Resident B said, there are way too many cryptocurrencies. Do you think if the Clarity Act passes, some of the cryptos will start dying off and we'll see real winners? Or will the Clarity Act just boost everything? Well, at the beginning, I think the Clarity Act is going to boost everything. But I think once we get past that initial euphoria phase, then we're going to start kind of like the .com bubble, right? So once we get past that initial euphoria phase, we'll start seeing the winners rise to the top and the losers without use case or without adoption that really aren't being picked up and used. I think we'll see a utility based separation, which is why I am in the utility tokens. And again, that's my thesis and my theory based on my research, but it makes sense in my head that as this builds out, I mean, we're not going to need another Bitcoin. There's not going to be another store of value winner. Bitcoin's it. So there's going to be stuff that has real world use case, payments, smart contracts, real world tokenization, which is what Canton Network focuses on, by the way. Real world tokenization. So real world tokenization, payments, right? Anything that has a real world use case is what's going to move forward. If it doesn't have a use case, if it's a meme coin, it's going to fall off. I think the novelty stuff will go away and utility will be what sticks around in the end. My opinion, not financial advice. So in the beginning, I think it'll boost everything. I think when we get clarity, you might get like another meme coin, altcoin season pump type thing, maybe. Again, not financial advice, but it'll go away. It'll be short-lived once the next market cycle comes through. Quelly says, I'll be honest, if XRP goes to hell, I'll be devastated. I hold what for me is a significant amount, not for other people's standards. I believed Jake Claver. Well, Quelly, I understand, and you're not alone in that. I think a lot of people would be devastated in that, truthfully, because that's how a lot of people came to this space. But I will say this: life is gonna teach us lessons. We're gonna learn. Believe me, I've learned my fair share of lessons and lost my fair share of money over the years. It did bring you to a space, though, where you can be educated and where you have a chance moving forward. Again, we talk about 10% every single paycheck, build it out for 10 years. That's how it happens. Um, you can achieve a lot more in a decade than you give yourself credit for if you stay consistent with it. So I'm sorry you got devastated. That you may be devastated if it doesn't pump. I feel for you because a lot of people fell into this space with the same dream. And it's not necessarily that the dream can't be realized. It's just it's not going to happen as fast as people thought it was. I think XRP. I believe that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when XRP will appreciate to new highs and new values. I just don't think it's going to be $1,000 anytime soon. And I would love to be wrong, but that's why we plan for the long haul. My opinion, not financial advice. Let's see here. Let me find out where we were in the chat here. Raul said there's 20 people in the stream. He said, got him some more XRP yesterday under $2. You've been waiting for it, Raul. You've been waiting for it. Crypto Roger says, regarding Claver, usually a lawyer sends a cease and desist, but Claver jumps straight into suing. Seems a little greasy considering people often say stupid crap online. I mean, again, it's drama. Honestly, I have half a mind to think it's all a dog and pony show for clicks, honestly, at this point. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but would you be surprised? I mean, how many views have they gotten off of this feud between the two of them right now? I mean, it's a good story when there's nothing happening in the market. It's a good distraction. But again, my opinion, not financial advice. Daniel says, have you seen any sign in the market with the BIS Basel Phase 3 becoming relevant? I have not seen anything in the market as of yet right now. And you've asked about the BIS several times. I haven't seen anything come to play on it, at least as of now. I'm still keeping an eye, but right now price is falling again. But right now I don't think it's going to have any kind of major impact right now. I don't think anything like that would potentially have an impact until after the Clarity Act is done, until after they get all this sorted out. There's just so much drama happening with the Clarity Act right now. There's a lot of confusion. I mean, the geopolitical drama, just the geopolitical drama happening right now is not good for risk on assets. It's going to be bad for the entire crypto market, unfortunately. Raul says, I need to start getting some Flare and CC. Again, Flare was one of my dart throws. I am going to be backing CC moving forward. It's going to be one of the ones I pick up every single month. I think it has a lot of room to run. Just me. Resident says, I am interested in investing in Canton. However, CoinGecko says that Canton has an unlimited supply. Wouldn't that hurt price appreciation? Not sure how the tokenomics work. So the tokenomics, yes, it has an unlimited supply, but it has a halving. It constantly halves every single time. So it's similar to Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has a finite amount, whereas Canton has an infinite amount. So it will continue, but it doesn't serve the same purpose as Bitcoin or as XRP, because the tokens are used a lot more frequently, and the people who are building on the chain receive tokens as fees. So again, I have more of a breakdown that I'm working on. I don't have the full breakdown yet, but the tokenomics do support the unlimited amount. And again, it halves every single time, just like Bitcoin does, except Bitcoin has that cap at 21 million. This will just keep having infinitely forever. So eventually it'll get to the point when more, introduced, there's hardly any that's actually coming on, but that's just, how it works. And you can research the tokenomics. It's pretty easy to follow. But again, I do have a full video breakdown coming up. 29 people in the stream. Okay. Kelvin said, I just spent $1,000 on about 500 more. I'm guessing you picked up some more XRP. I think again, if you're just now hopping into stream, let's do a quick recap for everyone because price did fall last night really, really hard. Got down to about 184, immediately popped back up to the 194 area and has been chopping ever since. We have reclaimed $2, but now we need to see if we can get past where we fell from, right around that 205 to 206 level before we had this liquidation event. Again, over whales sold, what was it, 4 billion in Bitcoin and XRP as the tariff fears rattle crypto. So this was a liquidation event. That's why we had the wick spike, right? It's not a full spike, but this here's what concerns me and why I think it's possible that we are going to fall lower right now. If you look at this sell volume right here and look at the rest of this volume, okay? This is not recovery volume. Recovery volume would be like sharp green volume spikes coming back at this. It didn't. It just kind of caught it. You see what I'm saying? The volume just kind of caught it, stabilized, and now if we get another wick of selling volume, it's going to crash right past through this. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing a lot of conviction in holding this price right now just due to the volume. Again, not financial advice, but I want to give you guys a heads up of what to expect structurally. Right now, the entire crypto market is down with the exception of quant. It's not good. But for the month, everyone's still green, including XRP. Remember, when in doubt, zoom out. We discussed the 175 level again, the 177, the 175 level again. If we zoom out to our 1 week chart, where we always like to look at, again, 175 has been our level. We've tapped it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Looks like we're going to get a 6th time. This is our safety net. If it holds here, then we could see a push back up. But again, we got to see it reclaim EMA 9 on the 1 week chart. And it has not done that. It's tried twice, 3 times. It's tried. It has not been able to push through. So that is what we are looking for to see a breakout beyond this. We follow ledger activity. And again, engage in the chat, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this thing rolling as long as we can. Engage in the chat. We'll get things talking. So again, we always cover the account set activity, right? And transactions taking place on the ledger. Transactions are increasing. Payments are increasing and maintaining over 1 million. This is good. But if we want to see real appreciation, we want to see it get over 2 million and maintain there. Account set activity still staying spiked over roughly 40K continuously now for almost 3 months straight, 2.5 months straight. Again, more than the history of the ledger by far. So what is about to turn on? That coincides with the MAS, that coincides with the UK, that coincides with the OCC. So if we can get some clarity, then we can get somewhere. But right now, the Clarity Act is still up in arms, right? It's nothing but drama everywhere. Coinbase saying this, White House saying this, reporting saying this, right? 20 different YouTubers telling you 20 different things. So long story short, with the Clarity Act, nothing has changed. Coinbase is back at the table. They're discussing with the big banks. They're going to get it figured out. More than likely, it's going to be done before midterms. Coinbase is now saying that they think it could be done next month, right? And this is 2 days, 3 days after they were saying that the whole thing is going to get killed and, this is terrible. And now they're magically back to the table. They want their bottom line. Everyone knows it. Coinbase doesn't care about us. The government doesn't care about us. The banks definitely don't care about us. We're probably going to get screwed in the Clarity Act bill, guys. I hate to say it. Retail's not going to win. They don't care about us. It's sad, unfortunately. So we have to position ourselves and make the most amount of money that we possibly can because they're not going to look out for us, right? We need to look out for us. That's a fact in life. Oh, man, unfortunately. Fear and greed index is still at a 62 amidst the tariff craziness going on right now. WEF, Davos is underway this week. We've got Trump, Brad Garlinghouse, and who else is there? Many more are there. Larry Fink's there, right? Remember, Ripple is a WEF partner, and so is BlackRock. BlackRock's a WEF partner, and BlackRock's also the chairman of the WEF. When you have this many powerful people in a room rubbing elbows, you got to pay attention. Okay? Connect the dots, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There's a lot of big people in Davos right now. Hopefully something comes from it. We'll see. Hopefully we get something to do with the Clarity Act too. We talked about XRP Community Day. I don't need to bring that up again. Again, you guys can follow me on X. It's Long View Crypto. We always have a good time on X. I have some fun bookmarks that we like to go over. You guys want to laugh? We can laugh. So this was funny. This was on January 16th, actually, where Coinbase is saying banks are trying to undermine the president's crypto agenda, and this isn't going to happen. And then literally 2 days later, he's back at the table. This was Brad Garlinghouse saying that, like, two completely different statements from two completely different CEOs. I mean, this thing is all over the place. No one has a clue. No one has a clue. Let's have some fun, though, while we're waiting. Why not? Let's have some fun.
Show me the money! The money! Show me the money! Show me the money! Show me the money! You my motherfucker! Show me the money!
See, they don't care about us. Show me the money. That's all we care about. Show me the money. Show me the XRP money. Show me the price appreciation. So whales selling, causing liquidations, nothing happening in the market today, just chopping other than the price drop last night, which we talked about, could lead us back to $1.75 as the whales dumped over $4 billion in Bitcoin and XRP. Bad juju. Let's get back into the chat, though. See what everyone else is saying here. Daniel says, well, phase 3 is about the gold and silver standard comeback. With the price of gold and silver shooting through the roof, I wonder if that is going to affect some of the paper trade. You know, it probably will, and I'm worried of a pullback in the gold and silver right now. I definitely feel like we're at the tops, but the reason gold and silver is pumping right now is because everyone believes that the market's about to get printed into oblivion, myself included. That's why I hold gold, silver, copper, and those kinds of things as a hedge against inflation, right? And the debasement trade. Because since 1913, the 99% of the dollar's value has disappeared. In the last 5 years, 25% disappeared. That's why the dollar is backwards back here. That's why I have it that way. Because the dollar is going away. I really do believe that. I don't know when, but it's going away. Purchasing power is not what it was, and it's accelerating to a worse event, in my opinion. Let's see here. Daniel says markets in those commodities. Absolutely, markets are in those commodities right now. Desiree is in the house. She said hello. Stephen Haynes says, I love your honesty and look at it from a 30,000 foot elevation because it can get very frustrating when you see it fall day after day. But when you look at it for the month, it's still up. Thank you. That's right. When in doubt, zoom out. A lot of people get this microscope on what's happening. You will drive yourself crazy. You look at the use case, develop conviction in the projects you're behind. And when you zoom out from a 30,000 foot area and you look where the path is going, it makes it really, really easy to understand we are at the beginning of this, right? Especially when you compare it to things like what happened in the internet. This is the beginning. And it makes it a little bit easier. And it sucks because you have all forms of investors here. You have people like Crypto Roger who've been stacking for years. You have people like Quelly who came in because of Jake Claver and was promised this hopium, right? So really what we're trying to do is create a baseline that can work for everybody, right? A system that can work for everybody to have success. And that's what I try to do. So by zooming out and looking at it from a larger lens and trying to track what's going to happen over time, sure, not all of my picks are going to win. No one's does. But if a few of them do, then I'm doing good. That's how this game is played. I'm sorry, anyone who tells you differently is trying to sell you something usually. My opinion, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Sir Charles says, To quote Michael Jackson, they don't really care about us. No, they sure don't. They sure don't. Farm Maximus says, I'm looking at the bright side of the liquidation event. It opens up ETFs buying more XRP, dark pools causing supply shrink even faster. Eventually, price to increase. And again, these liquidation events were leverage based, as it wasn't spot based, but that's how these markets work, unfortunately. And if you want to look, I mean, we can see what the inflows are doing today. Right now, 13 million in volume so far today as it sits right now. So ETFs are still buying, they're still accumulating, but again, leverage, people playing around in leverage. Miss Wendy says people have retirement money in XRP. Yeah, a lot of people do. You're right. I have retirement money in XRP. Truthfully, I mean, pretty much my entire investment portfolio is based on utility crypto, real estate, and commodity, like infrastructure commodities like precious metals and things like that, or AI or alternative energy. Those are my riskier plays along with my crypto. Damien says, what's good, LV? There's no reason to worry due to the fact that Brad G is guest speaking in Davos. Believe me, I'm not worried. And this is what freaks a lot of people out. If XRP went to 50 cents today, I'm not worried. To me, that's a buying opportunity because the infrastructure, everything built out for XRP has not changed. Now, if it went to 50 cents because some negative news came out and there was something behind it, like, XRP is deemed not useful or whatever by so-and-so, like if there was some useful information that came out that dropped the price, that's a different story. But that's why we watch every day. That's why we watch the news. That's why we watch the structure, so we understand what's happening in the market. If it were to drop 50 cents today because of leverage and liquidity reasons and stuff like that, to me, that's a buying opportunity because nothing fundamentally changed for XRP. My opinion. Let's see here. Daniel says, that was my thought, brother. Thanks for the confirmation. You're welcome. You're welcome. Miss Wendy says, Jake is sketchy. Use discernment. Use discernment with anyone you watch on YouTube, with myself included. Again, I've told you many times, I'll be the first one to tell you to go do your own research. There's a lot of, man, I got itch. My mustache is itching. That's interesting. I've never had that before. Raul says, looks like going to go when I retired, so at least I'll have my retirement money. There you go. I hope you do. My phone's ringing over here. Sorry, let me mute this. Let's see here. Ozark Wood says, I've seen the same pattern on Sunday night since last fall when I go into XRP. If you look back every 3 weeks or so. Yes, Sunday's significant manipulation day. Well, not only that, but it's, it's end of month, well, it's not end of month. Well, honestly, it doesn't surprise me though. I guess I haven't noticed that on Robinhood, but maybe on other things. October 10th wasn't a Friday or wasn't a Sunday, was it? No, it was. It was a Wednesday or something like that. I don't know. I guess I haven't noticed that trend. I'm looking at it right now. February 3rd, there was a candle like that. That was about it. It was the last one I saw. February 3rd of 2025, there was a candle like that. Interesting. All right. I'll have to do some digging on that one. That's interesting to me. Let's see here. Thanks for the stream. Always interesting and informative. Gotta run. Peace. Later, Crypto Roger. Raul said, like I said before, we will be the last to use it. It's starting to roll in other places. Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, again, hopefully we get our appreciation, but that's why we follow everything every single day, so we have a better understanding of what to expect every single day. So if there's no other questions, I've gone through the recap. Again, heads up, chins up, might have a pullback. That's okay. We're here for the long view, not what the price is today. It's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and onward. So a couple of videos coming up soon. Canton network and internet, possibly. The internet comparison to crypto. I appreciate everyone taking their time to be here today. As always, I'm about to get out of here, so I'll see